a category that is undoubtedly a fan favourite, about to take the track here at the Castrol Edge Townsville 400. I'm talking about the East Coast Bullbars V8 Ute Series. There they are, they're all lined up, and would you believe it? It's a birthday boy who's managed to go ahead and get himself the pole position, and he's on the front row of the grid with Kylie.
Well, Reese McNally, you love these street circuits. You've put on another flyer in that qualifying session. Can you get through these concrete walls, though, in this Ute category?
Yeah, you know, I love street circuits. I love the, you know, the proximity to the walls and I guess the risk for reward factor. So absolutely love being up here. Townsville's a great track. So hopefully we can repeat our qualifying performance and bring it home on top.
Now, from memory, you did okay here last year too.
Yeah, we finished second for the round here. So so far we're doing everything to try and make that one better. But as we know in Utes, anything can happen.
I'll leave you with that thought. Yes, you're right.
I'm not quite sure how he manages to see out of that helmet. It's an interesting one. There's the points as I welcome Paul Morris in to commentary. And he's managed to hold on to that extended lead in the points after getting off a judicial's hearing on Thursday, Roll Harris.
He has, and just backing her up a bit before the line. He must have been a bit close to the line. So spoke to Ryle after qualifying. Reckons he's just points racing this weekend. Just got to get through it. Just got to survive it, he says. Look after that championship lead.
I've heard that all before. Let's just see how he goes when the green flag drops.
When the flag drops, he might have a different plan, but
we're looking to see how many we end up with this reverse grid race for later on. We never know. There is the man who won the first ever race on the streets of Townsville. The Utes were first on the schedule back in 2009, and it was George Miedeke who took out that win and is looking forward to a good result after qualifying outside of the top 10. So we're nearly set as we are about to go off on the warm-up lap. This will be the first of 3 races this weekend, round 4 of the V8 Utes. It's a good sight as the East Coast Bullbars V8 Ute Racing Series rolls off on the formation lap. You never know what to expect when these guys take to the track. I can tell you this much, we're scheduled for 11 laps and we've got an all-star cast on that front row, considering it's one man who's had a pole and a race win so far this year in the Stratco Ute, and the re-energised and reinvigorated Jared McLeod. This is how they line up. McLeod off that front row alongside McNally. Cedars and Marjoram doing a good job in what's been a bit of a Holden Lovin at the moment at the front there.
It's a Holden lockout, front row, second row.
Walton, who won last year here, is out of the middle of that page. Ryan Hansford outside the top 10. Look at the big names back here. George Miedeke missed out on making it through to the top 10. Marcus Marshall, former champ car racer, in there as well, Paul.
Yeah, not a lot of practice for Marcus. Ute troubles in both practice sessions, so limited laps.
We're going to see some double duties this weekend for Michael Arman. And he's racing in the Porsches as well as doing the Utes, so completely different driving.
Mate, that is a hard task to swap your driving between something with the grip of a Porsche and back to the V8 Ute. It's a big step backwards and a very hard one.
So they're heading all around this Reid Park circuit. The start of this race not far away. So it's a Yokohama tyre, trying to build as much heat as you can into it, which shouldn't be too difficult. Umbrella's used only for one thing in this part of the world in winter, and that's keeping the sun off the head.
Yeah, track temps up, and the guys just working the front tyres there. Easy to get heat in the rear tyres because you just step on the loud pedal, but swerving the car, using the brakes, trying to generate some heat into the Yokohamas.
Number of onboards running around in this series, one of which is in the Skyreach Shamrock Racing Ute of Lee Nicolau. That there is a pretty handy spot to watch from as they run up to the last corner on the track.
It is.
Now,
good
Paul,
spot.
We've seen plenty of chaos here in the past down at turn 2 when you throw the better part of 28 Utes into one corner at around 200 k's an hour. It's usually fairly chaotic.
Well, it's a super long straight with a little bit of a right-hand kink in it, so the right-hand tyre doesn't get any work. It's cold. It's not up to temperature. Then you've got to try and stop the car and turn right. So look out for it. You're going to see a lot of right-hand side front tyres locking into turn 1. And it takes about 1, maybe 2 laps to get that right front up to temp. And then you can really lean on it, so watch out for that.
To the left of screen, the Stratco Ute of Reese McNally. To the right, we've got Jared McLeod. It's Chad Nolan alongside Paul Morris for the first of 3 races. The second is reverse grid, but the trick is they don't know what the number will be reversed. So
the minimum's 8.
Could be anything up to, I think, about good
8 to 16, I think it is. Yeah. So the bubble is 8. That dash for 8th position is where you're going to guarantee yourself an invert.
whoever wins this race gets to actually pick the number that they invert. Here we go. The round at Darwin. The round at Darwin, Paul, was something else. These guys put on an incredible show. Are we going to see something similar? Can Reid McNally convert from pole position, which he couldn't do in Adelaide? So much to talk about as the red light comes on.
McNally's got the jump. McLeod coming across, and he's going with him.
It's going to be pretty even Stevens here.
I'd say McLeod will just tuck in there.
McNally, just like he did last year, getting the jump off the front row. Last year it was Chris Walton that he beat. This time it's Jared McLeod. He has the inside sit. Oh, a couple guys getting close to the wall in the background. Marjoram wants to go the long way around.
Three wide's not going to work here. Fisher up the escape road.
I think I saw Danny Bazadzic go into the fence in the background. No, it's not Bazadzic, but someone definitely went into the fence pretty hard back there. Missed out on seeing who it was. Now Hansford up the inside of the points leader. He said he was points racing. Well, let's see how aggressive he's going to be on this first lap.
In all kinds of ways there on the way back.
Through the left rights we go, and it is the Stratco runner himself, the birthday boy, Reid McNally, at a Wembley in Perth, who's leading the way, and still Hansford and Harris battle.
They're side by side. Ryle's got the line here for this corner. Hansford's going to have to duck out of it. Pull him behind him. He's just nowhere to go.
A pair of Matt Stone Racing teammates squaring off against a pair of Peters Motorsports teammates.
They get a run on him here.
Can he get up the inside through this bumpy part of the racetrack? He can't. Man, some work to do for Ryle Harris. He's fighting.
He's going to have a look here under brakes. Ryle comes across, just covers him off.
Clever. And hard racing back there, as well as Adam Beachy is going toe-to-toe.
Wilson.
Medicki.
Using someone there as a berm.
Get it done any way you can. Tell you what, Medicki not jumping forward like we expected he would in this first lap.
Oh, he returns serve on him straight away and says, none of that, mate, and have another one.
Well, he was quite courteous.
And this is going to go on all the way to the kink.
That was Michael Arman facing the wrong way. And the Peter Ward demolition ute, there he is.
There he is.
Fuel flap open, he lights up the Yokohamas to try and chase the pack back down. Under brakes, Chris Walton.
Locks it up and just forces Dontas wide. He couldn't turn in, he loses 2 spots.
Dontas shaking his head, furious.
And here he's got a run on him now. That'll be Nathan Pretty up the inside. Gets 2. Capitalises on that manoeuvre from Walton. This was a bit unfair.
It was a nice jump, that one, wasn't it? From Nathan Pretty, gets to 6th.
And Nathan just would have seen that coming with all his experience.
That is a great little battle pack, including some extremely experienced hands in Kim Jane.
And also
Grant
Johnson in there.
So some real famous ute, if there is such a thing, drivers.
There is.
Absolutely, there is now. And the fact that this series has such a following. In terms of that championship battle, this is looking very good for Adam Marjoram, as this is a full points paying race. Oh, Dontas, furious at the treatment earlier in the lap, is going to get it stopped back.
Yeah, props it in there nicely.
Good job. He was almost done for pole positionally today. I mean, he was quickest in the first session. Set the fastest lap in qualifying, but couldn't go on with it in the last 5 minutes. Suffering with that missed gear problem that he also had in the first session. George Medicki also missed a bunch of gears on his hot lap.
Ruined his hot lap. He's buried in the pack there now. Medicki back in 17th.
McNally just getting on with the job here. Holding that lead of 1 second over Jared McLeod, who had a first and a second race result to look back on after Darwin. This is the race start.
Yeah, pretty even launch. McNally just gets the better of it.
Now, I've never got to the bottom of who it was who got turned around on the run up to...
3 and 4 wide here, and this is where it's all going to get ugly in the middle of the pack here. It just takes someone to have a dip down the inside.
Someone hit the wall in turn 1, backwards.
Yeah. We know Fisher, who now went up the escape road, so he's obviously trying to avoid something. Beachy there on his right.
Oh, hit the rev limiter there for a second. The Jesus Racing ute has been suffering from a bit of a long brake pedal.
Oh, it's long. He's never going to stop.
Look at that.
So he has to press the brake pedal harder to avoid hitting Grant Johnson, and then just locks the tyre.
Yeah, he's been saying that in qualifying he was having to hit the brake pedal 4 or 5 times. Now watch the top of the screen here. Wait for it, wait for it. There,
okay.
Oakland's and Edge getting together.
Got a bit of an overlap. Hooked up on his rear of the car here and just hooked him into the wall, I'd say.
On board with Chris Walton. He's got Gray ahead of him. Being pretty courteous.
3 wide hanging out to dry there. He's fought back well.
Couple of scrapes. Fair bump. And still Fisher struggling with these brakes here. Oh, that was the... okay, so Peter Burnett looks to be the one who may have got together with Michael Arman there in the Ward demolition car. And at the front, it's still this man, though. The Stratco Ute holding that lead now of 1.3 seconds, so he's extended it. He's also set the fastest lap of the race on that last lap, so this is all great news for the birthday boy.
It's a big margin in V8 Ute racing, 1.3 seconds. McLeod's trying to go with him and just sneaking away from Cedars at the moment.
This is great news for the Auto 1 Ute of Adam Marjoram with the points leader back in 11th. He is going to take some points back on that championship charge. He'll probably move back to second as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to do it all weekend too. Ryle's just got no speed.
You watch Ryle's in 11th, and you just watch. He'll get 11th in the draw, and he'll be off the front row tomorrow.
He's going to need it because he's got lead in the saddlebags. He's weighed down. He's carrying that extra weight, and there's nothing he can do.
We saw him hamstrung last year at this event, but he was actually in that Ute.
Yep.
Actually, it was sponsored by All Purpose. It wasn't that particular Ute, but he had a bit of a rough round here last year, and then really picked his socks up from Sandown onwards, and has been the #1 man in the competition in the last 12 months. This was the last time we really saw him have a bad run. So it's still tight towards the front there. McNally on top at the moment, but there's still a long way to go. It's McNally, McLeod, Cedars, Marjoram, Gray wrapping up the top 5, but we're not even at the halfway yet in this first race of the weekend. Now Miedeke over to the left-hand side.
He's backing up big
slowing.
time.
Second in the championship and with a problem. George Miedeke crawling down the front straight, dropping down the timesheets. And what an awkward time to have that problem start just after missing the pit entry. To notice then that you've got an issue is too late by about 5 seconds.
It's too late anyway in this sort of racing. You can't afford to have a pit stop. And as you see, Cedars now looking lively. Eating away at the back of McLeod. Marjoram coming with him. This is where we're going to see some action.
This is good. It's a strong battle pack, that one, fighting for second.
It's crabbing down the road.
So
he's buried in the pack there. Obviously picked up a few war wounds.
Maybe something happened at turn 13.
Yeah. Him and Wilson were getting at it. Looked like Wilson, we didn't see what happened on TV, but...
Oh, there's something that's been sucked into the front of the Ryco entry there. Just went underneath the mainline dyno signage, which is on the front bar of these cars. And he's hanging on at the moment to second position. Still 5 laps to go here. That lead, 2 seconds for Reese McNally, McLeod, and local yellows down here, probably for George Miedeke's car that's stranded, I imagine. So no passing down at this part of the racetrack. There it is.
It's probably a good thing because it always ends in tears down there. At least we'll see some lap times.
It's what's cool about this track, though. There are so many passing opportunities around here. Probably more so than you get at most tracks in the V8 Supercar calendar. It really does offer a lot of opportunities for heavy braking passing opportunities.
Yeah, and you can work a guy over. You can ruffle him up the corner before and set it up the next corner.
Craig Dontis, diminutive South Aussie. I say that the utmost respect for Craig, but he is a short fella, which is actually not a bad thing for a race car driver.
No, it's good. Put the weight where you want it.
Yep, centre of gravity down. And he at the moment is chasing around Chris Walton, who's managed to put a few car lengths or ute lengths in between himself and Craig.
Okay, so here we've got McLeod, who's starting to catch back up a little bit.
He's actually started to put 1 or 2 car lengths of his own now on Cedars, which is very impressive.
Could be a tyre pressure thing, just how the guys have got their different pressures set, where you want to come on early or come on later in the race. It's only a difference of 1 or 2 pounds.
Isn't Graham Edwards doing a good job? There he is. He's out in 14th.
That's clean, tidy.
Yeah, it's the one event that he shows up to run in and doing a good job fighting with another local North Queensland youngster this time, and Mason Barbera. Barbera getting a bit of a hurry up there through the mid part of the corner. Barbera running for ICR Petroleum and Nanport this weekend. Bundaberg-based company. They've had some issues electrically with this car, actually, getting it fired up, and that's what saw him stall it off the grid in Perth. He's also had some issues with that recently in Darwin. Thankfully, at the moment, it's doing the job, but he's just sitting outside the top 10 at the moment.
Beachy's got his bumper hanging off.
Standard practice for the Utes. Got to shed 1 or 2 body parts.
They might actually pull him in if that doesn't dislodge, so his best bet's to probably back up to Barbera and get him to help him pull it off.
See if Barbera will do him a favour here.
Yeah, don't think he will.
George, actually, no, it was McLeod who did that to Miedeke under safety car conditions in Perth. Wiped the bumper off for him, which is quite nice. Saved him getting the meatball flag, which means you have to come into the pits to get it removed, which obviously pretty much just ruins the whole race for you.
Oh, ruins your whole weekend.
Yeah.
It's so important to keep finishing races in this format. Adonis on the all-important position 8. Kim Jones sneaked up into the 9th position, so he won't lie down.
It's great seeing Grant Johnson back running in a competitive car. All-purpose pest control wildcard has a different driver in it most rounds, but he's had 2 cracks so far this year in this car. He actually handed it over to Chris Pither for Darwin, didn't he? And didn't Pither convert?
Yeah, Pither just gave him a driving lesson all weekend. Just saved everything for the last race and put on a clinic, really. It was really good to see.
It was actually the 2nd closest race finish in Ute history. Both closest races coming in Darwin now. What's this race got in store for us? As the laps tick down, 2 seconds the distance between 1st and 2nd, so it's not looking like being an absolute thriller at the front, but there's still plenty to sort out further back in the pack. Look how much steering input Walton puts into this car. There's a lot of go-kart driving to stay sharp. Gold Coast-based driver chasing down Nathan Pretty here in the Burbank Homes Ute.
He's ranging up on him. Just whether he can get past. So a lot of experience there between those 2 guys.
Oh, he's catching him all right.
He's catching him. If he can stay on his bumper, he might be able to pitch it down the inside. Nathan will just wheel it through this part of the track and hang on to it, try and just get in front of him enough.
Nathan
has a bit of a sniff.
Pretty just focusing on hitting those markers.
Yeah, just get it in and get it off, unless you make a mistake. And as you can see, Nathan gets better drive off the turn. That's all he has to do, is just keep getting the car off the turn nicely. Make it real hard for Walton to get a run on him.
Dauntis will be thinking, come on, catch him, have a go. Oh, Miedeke's got that car moving again, which is a good effort. So no local yellows down there, but he is going.
That's weird. It must have been an electrical problem or something that allowed him to reset it.
Turn it off and on again?
Turn it off and on again. Just road car electrical systems in these cars, so it could have a little gremlin there.
And that is not what you need in the championship charge. And it's fair to say that Matt Stone Racing are probably the most meticulous when it comes to prep.
Yeah, they've really got a race car mentality from all those years of experience at Stone Brothers Racing with Matt and Jimmy there. Loving their racing still.
2.5 to go for your race leader, Reece McNally, riding on board with the defending champion and also the man who took out the round win here, including the race 1 win. In 2014, the Renko Charger himself, Chris the Killer, they call him, Walton. It's a bit of a Ute thing. The boys have nicknames across the field.
Good.
They like to put it on the B pillar.
Everyone needs a nickname.
Not much cooler than the dude, though. Who gave you that nickname, by the way?
Oh, it goes back a long way.
is that a story for not on television?
Yeah,
or is it...
No, it's a TV story.
We'll hear it one day. We'll hear it during a safety car at some point this weekend if we get there. Graham Edwards still chasing down this battle pack. And look, he's keeping pace with regulars in the series. He's doing a great job. Oh, Barbera with a problem. He's bowled it
Wilson
wide.
will capitalise on that.
As Paul Morris would say, and he loses a couple of spots. And that could be the difference between missing out on an invert later in the weekend. We saw that happen to Chris Wilson, to the other Wilson. We've had a few of that race in the series. Cam Wilson in Darwin slipped off the racetrack. Didn't know at the time, but it would have got him the invert to the front row.
Would have got him the invert. Out of a lot of... Get him out of the danger zone. He was buried in mid-pack all race.
It's been a real turn of pace in 2015 for Reece McNally. He showed last year that he had some glimpses of that speed. And in Darwin, he drove off the back of the grid in the 3rd race. I think he came from 28th to finish 12th in a race that had a safety car in it as well. So he was ripping through the field. Now Cedars is close back onto the ABC Towing Ryco entry. Got it closer once again. Mango Credit stickers have been put on overnight onto the Cedars Ute, looking resplendent in black and orange once more.
McLeod's just got him covered in the faster sections. Just a bit tidier.
If McLeod didn't have that howler in Adelaide of a weekend, he would be right up there in the top 5 of the points. As it stands, he's not doing too badly. He locks a tyre down there, but he just got his championship campaign off on the wrong foot. He's still sitting 7th in the points. He'll probably continue to push on if he carries this form as McNally starts that final lap. But remember when the bonnet came up?
Oh, it was a terrible week. Most guys would have just packed their stuff up and never come back, but just shows the resilience of McLeod to rebound and then rebound to some good form.
Really cool to see.
Copped a lot of flack from the other drivers and the stewards and just took it on the chin and got on with it.
Even got some glass in his eye. He almost took his thumb off pre-week working on a circular saw at home, and he just refuses to give up. Oh, we need a new mainline dyno number plate down there for Ryan Hanson. That's all standard stuff as well in the Utes. We usually use a few of.
And this is where McNally's quick. You watch him attack these curves. Just keeps it flowing.
Has Cedars got any answer for second here?
He won't unless McLeod made a mistake, and I don't think he's going to.
They've dropped Mardrum, so Mardrum's gone into tyre-saving mode. He wants to make sure he's got good Yokohamas for the rest of the weekend here.
That's a good point. Limited to 4 tyres, new tyres for the weekend, and 2 used one out of your previous bank, and he has a look. Jared just covers him off and says, no way, mate.
I'll tell you what, though, this will give him a bad exit, and it might just open up the door.
No, he'll be right.
He's trying to get the power on a bit early there, Cedars.
He's be right.
Is there going to be a last corner dive bomb? McLeod will park it over on the left-hand side of the entry, meaning no way through.
There he goes.
No pass, so it's not going to be a Cedars Racing 1-2, but it is going to be a Cedars Racing win. He won the reverse grid race in Perth, and he's going to cruise home for a victory here in 2015. Congratulations to the birthday boy, converting pole position thanks to Armour All to a race 1 victory. Nice work for Reese McNally. Jared McLeod doing another great job hanging on to second. He's been top 3 the last 3 races in the series, so he is in seriously good form. Cedars returning a top 3 finish as well. He's been strong so far this year. And Mardrum will round out that top 4 battle, and Jeremy Gray also looking strong. First of the Fords.
First of the Fords, then Walton.
Grant Johnson inside the top 10. All 3 Erebus cars inside the top 10, so a couple of headlines there. Some big names there, actually. Ryle Harris, the points leader, in huge danger of missing the invert. We'll find out what that is a little bit later on. Mason Barbera slipped back to 15th. Marcus Marshall, his first race in the Utes in 4 years, returning a 16th position finish. Didn't see too much of Lee Nicolau on that one, but he was back there in 18th. And 28 Utes taking to the grid for the first of the 3 races this weekend. And unfortunately, we didn't see much of a battle at the front, but I'm sure that the rest will be exciting. To the highlights, and they're all quite courteous with themselves down at the second corner. There was a little bit of push and shove.
Yeah, mid-pack, but the boys up front just keeping it clean. They know they've got a long weekend in front of them.
Over the curves we went for the first lap. Reese McNally did exactly what he needed to do. Just get a good start.
Yeah, he's a master of the curbs here. This is where he's fast.
Oh, how's the left rear tyre up in the air?
And lands.
Michael Arm will be hoping for...
Gets tipped out.
Better results in the Porsches later. This was some heavy racing between Mason Barbera and Graham Edwards. Adam Beachy never got called for that. He
was good.
Managed to finish the race off and finish in 13th position, car 15. Barbera going wide, and he will just be eligible for the reverse grid tomorrow, depending on what number they draw. These guys fought for second all race long, McLeod and Cedars. But no one had an answer for the Stratco Ute.
They don't, and they didn't have an answer for him in qualifying either, so tyre wear over the next 2 races will be the indicator.
So the checkered flag day came, 11 laps without a safety car, and it's Reese McNally taking the first race this weekend, round 4 of the V8 Utes.